Good morning, guys.
Hi everyone, welcome back to EIS Alaska.
Yeah, well, it's almost fall time here, so I guess that kind of signals the start of our fall halibut season.
Yeah, so all done fishing rockfish, jigging for rockfish and cod for now. Still working on the big boat, but in between we'll go do a few halibut trips, I guess.
Try and get knocked out and, yeah, get some delicious halibut on the way.
Yeah, a few people have already placed some orders, so we're excited to start getting those out the door. We're starting a little earlier this year, so that's nice. All the gear was down here. We actually had it stored on the Emerald Isle, which was really nice. Everything except the reel, so it was a pretty easy transfer. We just had the anchors on the bow, and then we put our tub gear and miscellaneous junk on the shelter deck. So that was nice, not having to haul that back and forth from the house. And saved us a little bit of time. And we're just going to run over to the plant and get our reel. They have it stored there, and they'll just hoist it down with their crane. And we'll drop it on the deck, and we'll pretty much be ready to go.
A couple of hydraulic hoses to hook up and bolt the reel to the bulkhead there.
Yeah, we blew one of our hydraulic lines earlier this year, so we got a new set, showed up the other day in the mail. We just went with hose again for a couple different reasons. One of them is the price to plumb this in hard line is tubing runs about $15 a foot. That's before tax here in Kodiak, and then the fittings and everything, we'd probably be looking at probably $600 just for the stainless lines themselves, and then we'd still have to tie it in, at least on the reel side, with some hose for some flex. It's just, it wouldn't be practical to run tubing because of the configuration of where we hook into the valve on the reel. And we'd probably end up putting hose right here too, just to make it easy to disconnect and not have this hydraulic valve here all the time.
Yeah, there'd be a lot of vibration too on the reel side. It does move a little bit when we're reeling in, so.
Yeah, to hardline it, we'd have a weird shape, and it'd require a lot of bends. Probably a coupler in the middle. You couldn't get away with one single stick of tubing on that.
Nope.
So cost and everything, it's pretty expensive. By the time we added in 4 hoses, 2 on each end, it'd be probably $750 easily with the fittings and everything. So we just opted to go with hose again. Get a lot of life out of that. The old set was actually came with the seine block that we got, and well, we've had it for 7 years, I guess, something like that. Prior to that, who knows, maybe a decade, maybe
they're
15,
ancient.
20 years. The hoses are really old, so you do get a lot of life out of them. And we'll also have the added benefit is that we can use that hose somewhere else if we need it. We'll probably use it for the bait chopper on the big boat for crab fishing, things like that. So it's easy to disconnect, store at the house. If we need it for another application, we can. In the case of the old one, that was actually also for the seine block to win up our boom. So it kind of serves double duty that way. So yeah, we did get a couple of replies on that video where that line burst, and people wondered why we didn't just hard plumb it back in, and that's the reason why.
Yep.
Yeah. So we did hard plumb this one in originally, but we got this material. Somebody had a piece of Schedule 80 stainless pipe, and gosh, it seems like he was salvaging it, and if I recall correctly, we gave him like $100 or $150 for it. It was a really good deal. So, and then the return line is just Schedule 40, and reality is probably we could do them both in pipe and just use Schedule 40 because this isn't a really high pressure system. You know, we're not looking at like 5,000 psi or anything. I think the reality is our system is running somewhere in below 1,500.
If I recall correctly, when we were testing a pressure relief, it yeah, it went up to like 13 or so.
That's what I want to
That
say.
kind of range.
Yeah, we'd have to throw the gauge on to be sure, but
Mhm.
you know that doesn't account for like dead hitting the system or anything. But that really shouldn't happen unless you're plumbing things in improperly.
Mm-hmm.
But yep, so hose it was this time just because cost. It was substantially less, less than half by far. So.
Well, there's starting to show signs of fall here. Pillar Mountain up there is starting to get a tinge of brown to it. Salmon fleet's starting to go to sleep. It's mid-September now, so mostly everything's done. Silver Run was kind of what goes on this time of year, so that's kind of last of the salmon happening here. People transitioning into fall mode, starting to clean their boats up for fall and winter. So yeah, went over, dropped our reel down, as you guys saw. Hopefully I had the camera oriented correctly. But yeah, went pretty good.
Yeah, pretty smooth and painless. We're always a little bit nervous. It's a pretty hefty chunk of weight there, probably about 1,800 pounds, somewhere in there.
Yeah, it'd do a little damage if it dropped. Not only would it probably destroy its frame, but also poke a hole in the deck probably if it landed correctly.
I don't know what would happen with that. I think it'd be quite terrifying.
Yeah, don't want to think about it. So yeah, we'll go ahead and start getting this stuff assembled. Gonna go home, get a bite and some coffee, and come back down a little later, hook up hydros, all that good stuff. So bring you guys back then. All right, so we're back down here on Fishtail. Halibut prep continues. Next up, we're gonna pull our 2 jiggers off, and then we need to pull this rail off to get to this roller here. As you can see, it's cut in pretty well by the line there, so it needs a refill. Do a little tigging this afternoon, get that all fixed up. So first off, we'll disconnect the wires on these jiggers and take them off for the season. Or at least, yeah. What? Got the assistant here today. Wrench ready at hand. Went ahead and mounted the table here. Dropped a couple wires off the jigger here, and go do the other one.
Whoa. Take it easy.
Take it hard. Oh, just a couple of nuts holding on the wires here. Nothing fancy. Dad's over there grinding away on the emerald isle. Just a few things here to prep for halibut, so nothing too intensive that we need a bunch of people on the job. That's the nice thing about our setup here, is that it's really quick to switch over and hook everything up.
Less than a day's work.
Yeah, less than a few hours work actually.
Yep.
It's very fast. So we'll bring these jiggers home. Last time we put them over on the Emerald Isle, but that's still a work zone, so. Okay, you need a big crescent wrench to pull those bolts out. So I'll go and get that. I'm gonna try and leave that rail on because the hydraulic bank is hooked up to it and I don't feel like moving it. Okay, so this roller is just held on by a couple of big bolts that have the, well, that was easy. A couple of flat areas on the, to ride on those UHMW inserts, so pretty basic. Set this over on the table, please. Situational awareness is vital in this industry. Here we go.
Situational awareness is my middle name. Pretty strange middle name, I know.
Yeah.
But it's the truth.
Okay. Those 9/16, please. Going old school. Right, T?
Oh yeah.
Now this is something we don't really want to drop in the water, so wouldn't be very easy to get it back.
That's precarious.
Set. Break it free first. Hasn't been apart for a while, I guess. It's been a while too, a couple of years, a few years. This one was always a little bit awkward. I can't see it's on the inside. Oh. That alignment to break it free. Like, can't even get any twist on it. On this side, the aluminum is blocking the shoulder hole. So, just have to cut it off. First time for everything.
That's unfortunate. He will be back with a grinder. It's a beautiful day for getting ready for long lining. Nice and sunny, and there's actually a little breeze too to keep us cool. Although it's starting to chill off too because it's getting to be autumn. He's returned.
What is going on?
This thing here.
And Dad's here to supervise.
Can't get the wrench back there because there's no turning radius. You can't get that free because it's completely caked up in there and tight.
Then you try the impact wrench.
Uh-uh.
Well, there you go. Hammer it.
Okay.
Hammer it loose, dude. That's why we have those fancy tools.
Alright, at Captain's advice, try the easy way. My ears.
My ears too.
Worked, eh?
Yep.
Oh, it spun it loose. That was rough on you.
Alright.
Quick, secure that before it falls off.
Aye! We should
guys can
replace
see.
those ugly old wood blocks one of these days.
Bunch of aluminum oxidation buildup there. So it's so tough to get off.
It's always a bad combination, but unavoidable.
Basically
I suppose
welded
the guy
it
could
in
go
there.
with sleeves, like nylon sleeves and stuff, but those don't always guarantee success either. Aluminum naturally wants to oxidize. I think one rail has to come off, huh?
Yeah.
One side maybe.
Yeah, just want to be a part of this.
Hey, yeah.
He didn't like Mr. Fun. Got it?
Oh, yeah, that's why. Oh, I just lost something.
Yeah, it's just enough from the inside.
All right. Ooh. Juicy.
Oh, give that a little sip.
All right. Well, take that home for a little refurbishment. Now this turn looks weird.
Yeah. That roller is like a mainstay. It just never leaves.
No. Need to get our rails done one of these days. That would be nice. Nice rail down the starboard side.
Yeah. Gotta get the crossbar for the reel that mounts it to the bulkhead, or connects to the bulkhead. Left it at home, so get that from home, then we'll get those bolts in, and we gotta hook up the hoses.
Some new hoses, got some chafing gear for them. A couple of miscellaneous fittings. Elbow to go into the flow valve over here. Well, I guess just off that T. And then a couple of 1/2-inch pipe to 1/2-inch JIC fittings. All our hoses are JICs. So these two fittings here need to be replaced, and also the two off the valve over there.
Two off the valve. You're talking about these.
Talking about those.
Need me to hold that?
Oh yeah.
I kind of completely missed that, to be honest.
Of course.
Well, I was getting.
Now it's no way there's gonna be a
Oh,
repeat.
well, it looks like you.
No way it's gonna go as good.
Oh yeah. See, I knew it'd all work out. But hey, I only missed the first one because I was trying to hold it down.
All right, can we do the same with the hydraulic hose? JK.
Now we don't have the rain for lubrication.
That's all right. Got water hose. Where'd the water hose go? Never mind. So I think we're gonna have to try and get some wire through this to pull the cable through. Alright, so we have some stainless wire here. Try and slip it through the sheathing so you can get it to the other end and use it to pull this pipe through, or this hose through. Might be too bendy too, I don't know.
It's worth a try.
Thing is that this stuff folds and then it just holds everything back. See, it pinches it. Do something to like pinch it open. You know what I mean?
Yeah. What's going on here?
So I'm just capping these ends off. Tristan came up with the idea of soaping and lubricating these hoses before putting them through. I think just water should work fine. Yep, the stainless wire was just a little bit too flexible to really stick through there, and this non-shape is really like annoying in that it folds together. Oh, there we go. I'll just fill it up like a balloon.
Yeah.
Good idea, huh?
And we have water.
That's the play right there.
You might be able to see it going.
Lift that end up, please. Refill it. You lay it down, just like keep the end up so it don't drain out.
Oh.
Yeah.
There it is.
That worked. That worked pretty good.
Now do it
Filled up
again.
This end chip, filled up this shape gear with water and just push this thing through. It's a hair long. I'll have to trim it on one of these ends. But yeah. Try it again. See if it was an accidental success.
I don't think so.
I don't think so either. Puffing up. All the way that? Good.
Yeah. It's pushing out the water.
That stuff.
You're almost to the end. It's right here.
Oh, it's right there?
Yeah, it's right here.
Okay, just pinch the hose so it spreads out.
You're almost to the end.
Little refill.
There it is.
Alright. Cool. So we'll maybe I'll lift them up with the single there, so drains the majority of the water out. Won't hurt anything being in there, but we'll have to put a couple of little cuts in the chafe gear anyway to keep any water draining out, because this end, which goes up to the reel, will be open to having water drip in it, so you'll have to have a little drainage hole in the chafe gear anyway. So
Crow.
we're now over there. Okay, there's a tutorial of how to run long piece of hydraulic hose through chafe gear.
There
We
it
learned
is.
together. All right, so we're gonna change out these fittings here. This is for a regular hydraulic hose, not a JIC. So we got the JIC fittings here. Pretty easy. We use this Vibratight thread sealant stuff. Works great for sealing up the threads. We've tried using like the Teflon paste before. Not supposed to use tape because it can end up in big chunks and go back through your pump, and that's not a good thing. But this stuff's been very, very bulletproof for us. Pretty much just spread it 3/4 thread of the way around.
Running low, looks like.
This one is. I couldn't find the full one. We have a little container around. Not sponsored, by the way, but it is a very good product that we can recommend.
So how come we're upgrading these?
So the fitting end is a JIC, which is just a tapered face here. A typical fitting, I'll show you after that, but this face right here seals after you thread on your pipe, thread on your hose, whereas on this one, like the edge of the fitting seals, like the very edge. So I'll show you after we pull those off, the difference in them. Good to the last drop.
Oh yeah. Squeeze out that last bit of toothpaste.
Yeah. Can't see much. All right, that's enough. Set her nearby. A little bit breezy out today.
Yeah, it is. Hopefully that windmill doesn't detach and fly our way.
Oh my gosh.
Probably not.
That would be tight, Kristen.
Oh, are you testing me?
Yes.
And I failed for not pointing out your
My flaw.
trivial mistake.
No, actually that would be tightening. It's just that the whole thing moved. got to like here and found out you can't go anymore, then you'd have to take it off and reapply a sealant, because if you loosen it, it tends not to pull that sealant with it. So you can always tighten them more if they leak. Snug this cap up a little bit so it don't drip all over. I hate crescent wrenches. Get off. Or spanners for you, care to call it that.
Across the pond.
Yep. Okay, those two are done. So we have two more on the back bank right there to switch out. And those ones are just straight, so that next. Alright, so this is a NMPT, regular hydraulic hose fitting. I think that's the abbreviation, but anyways, so a hydraulic hose goes up into that slot. This is inserted in your valve bank, and it just threads onto the hose. The inside sealing face there meets up with the sealing face of the hose. So that's that one, and then this is a GIC. You can see there's a big difference. The inside lip of it is just like, well, it's not there. The sealing face is actually that outside paper, as well as the threads on this swivel here are tapered out to pull your pipe in. These ones are straight, so they're not, you can't fit them together. They're different. This back one you actually could put it on there if you want to, but that's the difference. Just a brief explanation. But the nice thing about these is that the threads are on your pipe, or the swivel is on your hose, so you just stick it up there and spin it on, and it's like just a lot easier. For whatever reason, it just feels cleaner and smoother. We're slowly transitioning to all JIC on this boat.
Oh yeah. Slowly replacing one thing at a time.
Yep.
What do you think your friend's singing to you?
He's interrupting my recording. Quite rude. This is a little messier than we usually are with hydraulics, but it's kind of unavoidable too. Like, yeah, we could reclaim this fluid, but at the end of the day, there's not actually that much leaking out. And with all the crust and stuff that comes off these fittings, I wouldn't really want to pour it back into the tank either. We'll go over this stuff with a blue shop rag. Dab up the paint removing oil on it. Oh yeah. That one was on there.
Yeah, even pulling the rail around.
It's good to clean off those chunkies pieces of old sealant. Alright, we'll just let that absorb for a little bit and then put our new fittings in. Straight ones are easier because you can just turn them until they're tight. Whereas the 90s, you have to like stop when you know you can't make a full another full revolution. Right here is good on that one. Like I said, you'll tighten it more if it leaks a little bit. Alright, these caps a hair. That should be it for the new fittings.
There it is.
Okay, we'll get our pipes over there and run them out and yeah, hook them up too. Alright, we'll stretch out these new lines and get them hooked up. Those have a certain way they like to lay down, relax. Leave those slightly loose for now so that these hoses can turn while we get the other ends in position. I wish my chafing material had been higher up on these ends because this is the end that will take the be most exposed to any kind of chafage, I guess, but I'll try and slice the extra up that way. I have to put this back on the top. Pull it through. I wasn't thinking. I pulled it this far down on this thing.
You got too excited.
I did. Got ahead of myself.
It happens.
Yeah, I can show you the end. That's the inside sealing face of the hose of JIC hoses. And then you can see the swivel is actually on the hose side. And it just mates up to this face here. So you always want to make sure that your sealing faces aren't nicked or dented or anything like that. Otherwise you'll have a little leak there. You'll be annoyed. Same goes for the regular hose too. Those sealing faces can get damaged over time and they'll leak on you.
Don't want that.
Nope. On that tail, one half on that tail. That won't go anywhere.
Nope.
So, a couple more here. I'll tie it up around the frame so that's not on the deck right there. And then take that. Should be like perfect. Alright, so I traced these lines back. A is a top port. On my old 90 here I had A scribed on it. So top port goes to this one, which is this hose. So we'll do that one first because it's kind of tucked back there, this pane. So there's probably oil in here again. It's settling out. So not too much of a mess, but paired with Absorbi. And we'll tuck under here. And no mess. Nice. Snug it up. B belongs here. This further along, I'll have to pull it back over there to tuck away the extra. Now this one will certainly have some oil collected and everything. One cap over. Going overhead. Coast Guard helicopter and a prop plane.
Yeah.
And remember, you can always come back and tighten them a little more. They leak. All right, that's that. We have those two to tighten up back there. Now that they're in place and happy. Like that. Usually you'd have another wrench to go on this one while you tighten up this, but it's all right. Well, I think that's it. One more tie in the middle there. We'll have to come through here and cut a tiny hole at the bottom of these chafe guards, just like this one here has a tiny hole there. That's to let the water drain out of it that collects, and probably one or two up there as well. So, but yeah, that's all for now. We'll bring you back once we fire up the hydros.
Turning on the hydros, making sure nothing's blasting. And it doesn't look like anything is.
It wouldn't be blasting too much yet because the valve is open, but there is still some push through on those valves. So let's find out gushes or not.
Looks good so far.
No leaks?
Nope.
Safety valve there. If you ever need to turn it off without being all the way back there, turn it off here. Basically just diverts all flow from going through this valve bank instead going through here to the return.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd say it was a success here. Pretty smooth. Not really much to it. A little messy just because you got to switch out those fittings and stuff. But not really much you can do about it. I guess it's just about it for the halibut prep. Just got to bolt and reel to the bulkhead here. But it's easy enough. It's just a bar and 2 bolts that go through and have a backing plate. So it's kind of a weird spot to film. I don't think we'll bother. But thank you guys for coming along. look forward to some action pretty shortly here of hauling some halibut.
Yeah. See you then.
Yep, see you soon.